Inept terrorist plots. Timothy+McVeigh in hell.
Come here, Stu. We're going to do
Nashville floats away.
Go.
Roman Polanski. Poor baby. And Chinese cookies. Now the news. Or bust style. The most inept terrorist plot since that Nigerian's underwear was hatched in Times Square this weekend. You know what? There's so much bad news this week. God. Oil slicks in New Orleans, thanks, let's keep drilling. Great stuff, thanks BP. Nashville floating away. China warning everybody that state secrets are totally secret. Roman Polanski talking. I mean, terrible, terrible news everywhere. Let's go for a nice hike with Stu. You can turn off the volume and just listen, and let's walk through Western New York along the old railroads, the Pat McGee Trail. Enjoy. You can't go home again. The most poorly planned terrorism plot since that Nigerian's underwear was hatched in Times Square this weekend, with naturalized American citizen Faisal+Shahzab arrested on late Monday at JFK trying to flee to his home country of Pakistan. The inbred Pakistani Taliban are taking responsibility, but no one knows why, including non-explosive fertilizer, 10 gallons of gas, propane tanks, and a few firecrackers in an old Nissan Pathfinder. Faisal forgot that Times Square is full of cameras and that New York City does not care much for terrorists.
Used to come to school stinking of leeks during leek season.
Yeah.
Because everybody would eat them.
Now, are cow slips, you eat the root or the leaves?
The leeks, like somebody just saying they do them like a salad or greens. I get the precept.
In related domestic terrorism news, billionaire Warren+Buffett is still fighting new finance regulations while defending Goldman+Sachs and the $900 per minute, $800 million annually, he makes off his $5 billion investment in the sullied, fraudulent bank. Somewhere in hell, Timothy+McVeigh is wishing he'd gotten an MBA instead of joining the military, guarded for eternity by ATF agents and forced to listen to Branch Davidians worship their Waco leader, father, mass murderer. Obama's Katrina. Gotcha games have reached new fecal lows as President Obama is somehow being blamed for BP's oil rig burning, collapsing, killing 11, then unleashing tens of thousands of crude into the Gulf of Mexico. The scene of Bush-Cheney's Katrina crime is suffering more indignity as the bayou struggles to survive, with fishermen even offering to work for the enemy by joining BP to fight the oil slick. Yep, illegal immigrant President Obama is to blame, with Rush, got any oxy Limbaugh, calling the tragedy Obama's Katrina. Smarter, saner minds see BP and lax regulations. Echo anyone as to blame? Quote, BP is responsible for this leak. BP will be paying the bill, end quote, said Obama while sending in the Navy and promising, quote, to do everything in our power, end quote, which is weighty now that we're a socialist state. Even BP exec Lamar McKay is pointing the finger at BP and, quote, throwing every resource that we've got, end quote, to try to plug the 5,000 gallon per day, every day, gusher 5,000 feet under the Gulf, with a bizarre Trojan horse contraption about to be lowered over the leaking pipe, by far exceeding the Exxon Valdez spill in Alaska in environmental damage and cost. BP will still be fine. Exxon fought a $10 billion settlement for decades while reporting $30+ billion quarterly profits, and prices at the pump these days ensure big bucks for those who ruin our earth. Saying it's liberating, Florida Governor Charlie+Crist, whatever happened to Jeb Bush, we'll never know, declared, quote, I'm much happier now to be perfectly candid, end quote. Why so happy, Charlie? Finally come out of the closet? Glad the nation's attention is on Arizona's xenophobia and not Florida's? Nope. Charlie is skipping the Republican primary to run for Senate as an independent. Weren't Republicans supposed to sweep all elections this fall? The party of Lincoln is purifying like Nazis at night, favoring angry right-wing fear-mongering do-nothings, Palin, AM Talk Radio et al., over moderate and mostly effective leadership. Next up, Republicans actually win the House of Representatives and have to govern through this mess they made over the past decade. Then Obama wins in 2012 by a landslide. much like Lincoln after the last Republican victory. Other catastrophes. Boston is drinking beer like every day is St. Patty's, as a critical water main supplying water to millions ruptured on Saturday. Told to boil their water instead of ingesting, proud Bostonians instead blamed the Yankees for their woes and drank the foul water anyway. In related water news, Nashville floated away early this week, killing at least 29 after flooding hit Music City. Somewhere a waterlogged guitar is being strummed by an undiscovered redneck. What rhymes with water is the refrain? Butter? No. Heck with it. I'll write me another heartstringer about my woman and truck. No, my dog. Okay, my cousin. Let's talk religion. The infallible Vatican assumed leadership of the Legionaries+Christ on Sunday. Only Pope+Benedict XVI would want to align himself with a group founded by a leader who sexually abused seminarians and fathered at least one child. Who is going to investigate the church? There were also accomplices within the church, wondered Jose Barba, who filed canon law challenges against the ultra-conservative group. In related pedophilia news,
Oscar-winning rapist Roman Polanski.
that's right, Roman Polanski broke his silence from utterly inhumane house arrest at a Swiss alpine chalet, declaring, quote, "I can now remain silent no longer," end quote. Posted on French philosopher Bernard Henri+Levy's website, replete with deep thoughts on quiche and how 13-year-old girls really wanted it in 1977. Polanski says the case for extradition is, quote, unjust and full of discrepancies. Thanks, Roman. Your day in court is coming. Best to just sit in that chalet and shh. And now, Chinese cookies for dessert. A man attacked a school in China, slashing 15 with a knife. This is the second such attack in China in weeks. The Communist government has informed all Chinese companies that they will be responsible for keeping all state secrets secret and report any improper sharing of information. The decree does not say exactly what a state secret is, so Chinese companies have to guess, or not share any information at all.
Okay, Sparky, we're out of here.
There we go. We done it. Now back into the sun. Hi, crazy. Take us home, Stu. Oh, one last piece of news related to China, because China owns the world now. Somebody let Adolf Ahmadinejad, Iran's president, into the U.S. to speak at the UN, and someone else let him leave. Where's the mob and concrete shoes when you need them? That's the news, folks. We'll see you next week.